Welcome to Crypto Flywheel, podcast where we spin up strategies to turn your digital efforts into unstoppable momentum. Now, let's get that flywheel turning. Okay, this is real talk. Let me explain something to you that just happened. And I want you to understand that even if you're never bought a single coin in your life, because this affects you whether you're in crypto or not. So you know Morgan Stanley, the bank, right? The big bank, old money, suits and ties. They manage $9.3 trillion in client money. Trillion with a T. That's right. These are the people your parents trusted with their retirements, their savings, their generational wealth. They are the definition of traditional finance. And they just filed on paper officially to the U.S. government to create something called Morgan Stanley Digital Trust, a brand new bank built specifically for crypto. Now, here's why that's a big deal. Morgan Stanley doesn't do things impulsively. They don't chase trends. When a bank that size moves, it means they've been watching, waiting, studying, and they've decided, hey, this is time now. So what does this bank actually do? Think of it like a vault, not for gold bars, but for digital assets. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Solana, Quant, and others. Their wealthy clients, big businesses, high net worth individuals have been wanting to hold crypto, but they needed a trusted, regulated, federally approved place to keep it safe. That's what this is. Now, here's where it connects to XRP and Ripple. And pay attention here. Before Morgan Stanley could even think about doing this, somebody had to go first. Somebody had to fight the government, fight the regulators, go to the courts, spend years proving that crypto could be legitimate and trusted. That somebody was Ripple. Yes, that's right, Ripple, the company behind XRP. Spent years in a legal battle with the SEC. I mean years, and they won. And late last year, the U.S. government gave Ripple conditional approval to run their own national trust bank. Yes, Ripple National Trust Bank. They were one of the first to get that green light. So think of it like this. Imagine there's a new road being built in a remote town. Ripple was a construction crew that cleared the jungle, laid the foundation, fought with the local government, and built the first mile. Now that the road exists, Morgan Stanley just pulled up in a brand new car and started driving on it. The road Ripple built is now open to everyone. But here's the XRP piece that gets people excited. When the massive institutions start moving billions and trillions of dollars across borders, they need a bridge, something fast, something cheap, something that works in seconds, not days, and doesn't cost a fortune in fees. So XRP was literally designed for that exact purpose. It's an asset that sits in the middle and makes a transfer happen. So when you have Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, Ripple, Circle, BitGo, all building regulated crypto banks at the same time, and they all need to move money fast internationally, the conversation about what asset they use keeps coming back to what? Guess what? XRP. And here's the kicker. Morgan Stanley also just filed for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana ETFs. They've removed the restrictions that used to stop everyday advisors from recommending crypto to their clients. They're even building their own digital wallet. This is not a company dipping a toe in. This is a full cannonball into the pool. For the average person watching this or listening to this, here's what it means. The era where crypto was only for tech nerds and risk takers is over. When most traditional conservative money on Wall Street starts building crypto banks, that's a signal. That's a green flag. So if you've been waiting, sitting on the fence wondering if this is real, this is the answer. The institutions aren't coming. They're already here. Yes, they're here. So we're pretty excited all about this. So are you going to be banking with Ripple? Or are you going to be banking with Chase? Or are you going to be banking with Citibank? Who's your bank? You tell me.
So, so to our listeners, I'm not just, I'm going to just supplement what Digital X said with some insight on this. Essentially, the insight for our listeners is this is all not just about price. It is more about the structure migration, right? New financial class, right? Asset class. So when capital at that scale builds infrastructure, it's not planning on leaving, guys. It's here for the long term, whether it consistently, whatever the narrative is, whether it adheres to that narrative of control grid or CBDC or that doesn't matter. Whatever happens, that's not within our control. What we need to do as listeners or in retail investors, position ourselves, as we always say. It's not just so. All of this stuff is basically institution driven. The crypto flywheel is trying to tell you at this stage it's no longer retail driven. It's more institutional transactions that acquire that as Digital X just said, Morgan Stanley just reached out for a digital trust bank, right? So that's almost $10 trillion that's coming on chain over here. So it becomes more institutionally reinforced when giant bank, and that's just a JP Morgan, imagine Deutsche and Credit Suisse and all these other banks that are also going to start bringing their assets onto chain. So so this should be a wake up call to our listeners to say, hey, we need to tie this all together and invest, or at least do our due diligence and start putting some money aside into possibly taking some XRP, or not financial advice, but at least do your due diligence and set yourself up. We're talking about the next couple of months, 2026 for sure. Fedwire, you got clearinghouse, interbank paying systems, SWIFT cross-border payments and reporting, all converging as of by November 2026, ISO 20022. That means trillions in daily settlements will speak one standardized data language. It's no longer going to be MT 103 or message type 103 or message type 202 formats. Yeah, keep that all in mind, guys, and just let's just do our due diligence and position ourselves for to be on board this new transition. That's all I got to say there.
Yeah, I mean, this is great news for the space because it validates the legitimacy of the asset class itself, and it allows long-term old investors, actually new investors, to have some confidence about what they're investing into and eventually capitalize on all the gains that are going to be coming forward in the near future. With that, Professor X, if you have nothing else, we can go ahead and flywheel out of here for now.
No, that's it for this weekend. I think that's all that I have. We do engage. We do request that you guys comment and put some questions up so we can talk about them in subsequent episodes. So with that, Digital X, and to our listeners, this episode of the Crypto Flywheel is signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.